everybody, and welcome to the Magic of White Pages. This is Laura, and today we are doing my February wrap-up. So, turns out I did not complete that hugely ambitious TBR, which is completely expected because even I knew as I was doing it, there was no way I was going to be able to finish it. But I finished some of the more important ones, which I feel is good. We're just going to move on to the 19 things I did complete reading, which technically isn't bad, but granted, 13 out of the 19 was manga. So not really anything that takes a lot of effort to do. Alright, so we are going to start with the regular books, and that way that if anybody isn't interested in the mangas, they can just stop there and just know what I read. First book on what I read was As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner, and I read this for the
name of that book group. I can't remember the name of, but Maria from Maria Muses. Did she change her name? No, Maria Muses is still Maria Muses.
I read this for her book group. I read As I Lay Dying, and I didn't hate it. I didn't. It took a little while getting used to it. It wasn't a good idea to go from a pretty intense fantasy to reading a American classic, because it did take a little while to really get into it, but then after a while I really found myself really getting into it and getting angry at certain parts and really sad about certain parts and like laughing at certain things. So I was just like, that's a good sign that you're definitely enjoying it. I think I gave it 3 stars. Because it did take a little while to get into it. There's a lot of different points of view, and I was very partial to Dale. I will say that much. He was definitely my favorite out of the book. The next one I read was for a book club as well, and that was with the YA Warriors. We read The City of Bones, and I read it for the first time, and I liked it a lot. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars because there was something at the end that kind of freaked me out, and I ended up deciding to continue this series. So take that as you will. The third book is The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan, and this was a reread, which was really enjoyable because I'm actually going back through all of Rick Riordan's books that I own, and just to try and reminisce, kind of like I did with Chronicles of Narnia. So yay! Then we also have another classic that I read, which I just completed just before the end of February, thanks to Audible, because I kept reverting back and forth between that, and that is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And it was my first time actually reading this. I watched a movie adaptation of it when I was younger, but I was more partial to The Little Princess. And I was absolutely dumbfounded by how obnoxious the little girl was in the beginning. It really made the book worth it. It was great. I can't remember how many stars I gave it, but it was good. I really loved it. And then another reread for me.
Wahaha, I caught it.
Aragon from the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, and it was a reread for me, and I'm going to say I definitely liked it better the first time. I'm not going to talk much about it because I don't want this to be too long. I actually did this in audiobook. I couldn't stand Saphira's voice. Aragon seemed so much more annoying. I look forward to every part that had to do with Murtagh, but I have been partial to Murtagh since the first time I read them. Him and Rowan, which is his cousin. I'm hoping that when I read the second book, he'll grow on me a little bit more. I mean, I want to see him grow. And the last book that I read, which actually took me very long to do, and I feel very guilty with how long it took me to actually do this book, and that is actually Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas.
This book is massive. I'm gonna put out your name.
It is massive, but it was only like 650 pages, and I think it took me over 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks to finish. And I actually, towards the middle, I started off, I almost went into a slump because I read Ice Like Fire right before this, and it was so amazing, and I was just like, I need Frost Like Midnight, I think is what it's called, so bad. so I had a harder time going through this because of that, I think. But the book was amazing, beautifully done. I'm going to actually have to reread this book just so I can enjoy it even more. Okay, that is the end of the books that I read. There was a total of 6. And now we're going to move on to the manga. So anybody who doesn't read manga, doesn't want to read manga, and doesn't need any recommendations or anything like that, just you can actually go now, and I'm completely okay with that. But for those manga lovers and people that are curious about them, these are the mangas that I read this month. Alright, so there's a total of 13 that I ended up reading. Most of them are actually from the same series, which would be from here to here. So the first manga that I actually read this month was Blue Exorcist Volume 14 by Kazui Kato, and I absolutely love this series. This is the 14th volume, so I can't really tell you anything about what it's about without giving any spoilers, but the main character is actually him right there in the middle. His name is Rinakura, and it's really amazing, and Allie, you should look into it. So the next mangas that I read were both in the same series, and that is Noragami Volume 8, which is one of my personal favorite mangas of like all time, especially for it's just awesome. And Volume 9, and I'm covering that up because there's a little fan service on the front of the cover. So 8 and 9 of Noragami. The next mangas I read was Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of Pandora Hearts. Yes, I know they're out of order. I probably could have read a little bit more, but I wanted to try and read some regular books too, because I was kind of reading these in-between books. Hence why there's so many. I read like 2 for like every book I read. Pandora Hearts is supposed to be, it's focused around Oz and Alice, who obviously, if it's Oz and Alice, you're thinking Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz. Well, it is loosely based on those, with literally having no connection at all. It's not really a retelling. I don't know what you would necessarily call it. It just has little elements here and there. It actually is a shonen mystery kind of mystery shonen kind of genre, and I can't remember what the other one was. Fantasy kind of genre. I quite enjoy it personally. I think my favorite thing about it is the whole mystery aspect of it. I like to try and figure things out as I'm reading, and it just kind of really brings a lot of that kind of Sherlock Holmesy feel to it because of the mysteries in it. At least to me, that would be. Okay, well that is it for my February wrap-up. I apologize if I seem kind of out of sorts. I'm still recovering from a cold, so I'm kind of all over the place. And I do apologize for that ahead of time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please push the like button, or please hit the subscribe button. I would highly enjoy it. I should be doing my TBR soon, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!
I'm doing it again. Too many anyways. Why do I even say it? I don't even know. It just comes out. So today we are doing my February rack up. Ooh, that could be considered something nasty. Starting over. And I'm using a lot of hand signs here. Just reading Queen of Shadows. Oh, look at me. I just spoiled myself. Darn. Is that a mosquito? I think I just saw a mosquito. Darn, this fluctuating weather goes from hot to cold, and now we got mosquitoes. Woo! It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So funny. Lots of cheese, lots of cheesy corniness, but I loved it. It's the kind of cheesy corniness that I enjoy, and I feel no guilt about it. No guilt. Cough attack. My throat is just like, I sound like I'm gargling something.